Hello, you guys. Hello. This conversation is too juicy. Hello, Mr. O. I posted the StreamYard link, so anybody who wants to join Mr. O, I know y'all got a lot to say. I'm muted? Hold on. I think it's, can y'all hear me now? Hey. Yeah, I'm good. It was my mic. My mic, I need to unplug it. Hello, guys. Hello. We got to continue this conversation. It went crazy. Okay, good, good. Everybody can hear me now. Thank you, guys. This is the after show from Conversations with King, the Queens of the Court. We have some things to say. Hey, hey, hey. I'm glad you came over. Y'all can join. I posted the StreamYard link for everybody who wants to join the conversation. Come on through. King, you come on, because like I need you to ask those spicy questions you was asking. Yes. We like that manosphere. It's a joke. I really want to hear a man who gonna come on here and support the manosphere. Like I need to hear why you support the manosphere, like why you think it's positive, it's going to help move men in a positive direction. Come on, Mr. O. I know you got some interesting views. I'd love to hear it. Hey, AJ. Mr. O, I don't know if you muted. I can't hear you. I'm still muted? Oh. All right. Can y'all hear me? Oh no. Let's get it. Oh my God. My audio is like. All right, y'all. Can y'all hear me now?
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right, I had to turn up, switch mics.
Okay, good. I was like, is it me? I thought it was B.
I'm still setting up my stuff in here. I had got new equipment, so I'm really
You were
rearranging stuff.
experimenting with it.
And I had to charge this camera, so I'm about to hook it up.
Well, how you doing, Mr. O?
I'm good. I'm good. That was a fun show. I enjoyed it.
Tell me what's your thoughts about that show, because I was going in. You know what? Anytime y'all talk about the manosphere, I do not play with y'all.
Yeah, you don't.
Yes, I don't play with that.
You don't care. Like if like it's just like what you said. If you type of guy that don't love women, you don't have no love for them.
Nope.
That's true.
I agree. 100 watts. Come on, because I know you was on that show criticizing. What you got to say?
I was just in the chat poking the bear. I was in the chat poking the bear. That's all that was. That's all that was. No, but I mean, honestly, no. But honestly, so I honestly do believe that whenever the word manosphere comes out, the instant thought is red pill, right? I honestly think that that's the idea that people go to, because the creation of the manosphere was in its origination, or in its origin, excuse me. I've created a word out of nowhere. But in its origin, from my understanding, was to give a space for men to be able to just speak, right? Not all of the points that these men were making originally were bashing women. It was mainly about men speaking to other men saying, hey, bro, You need to get on your mission. If you really trying to find a woman, you need to get on your mission, get yourself together, get back in shape. Like that space, that's where the space created. But now you get like branches coming off where you get the blue pill, then you get the red pill, then you get the pink pill, then you get all these other spaces. But the manosphere itself is actually supposed to be where men are coming together. For the manosphere is really supposed to be a space where Mr. O, like for dudes like Mr. O, because I fuck with the message that Mr. O be pushing out. You know what I'm saying? That's where the manosphere is really supposed to be about. But it's like when we get stuck on these extremes, and y'all were talking about you know, the population not being big, but what we all know to be true is the most attention grabbing thing is going to be whatever gets the clicks. So if you have Kevin Samuels, what's your dress size? How old are you? Those are going to get more retweets. Those are going to get more replays. Those are going to get more everything than the guy that's talking to men saying, because even Kevin Samuels himself, when he started his platform, he was talking to men. He
Right.
was telling men those same things and he wasn't getting the numbers. Then when it turned around and he started, oh, well, you not this and you, that's when the numbers started coming. That's because that's all people pay attention to. Whether they agree or disagree with Kevin Samuels, they watch it for the entertainment. It's
Right.
entertaining. I do a lot of laughing when I watch his show. It's funny.
It
To
is.
me.
It is. I mean, and everybody knows, or everybody may not know, but I'm pretty sure that all of the people who follow us know that I was on Kevin Samuels' show before. And Kevin Samuels was on the podcast that I was on several times. And it's not even a matter of me having an issue with Kevin Samuels or even believing that he is even the huge or major part of the manosphere movement. He's not. The manosphere movement, it did start off as like men right activists who really just wanted to advocate for men. And I think that it is still a component of that in the manosphere. But there are other, like you said, derivatives of it and other, you know, layers to it. And they're all branching off. And there's branches that are definitely centered on devaluing women and I guess like humiliating women. I mean, I think that's one of the major goals, and it's crazy because they want to like discredit women for whatever reasons. They don't like women who are hypergamous, and they feel like that they need to be called out on it.
I did have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you believe that women have an equal space to what we were talking about in the last conversation? That women have a space equivalent to the manosphere?
I do think that women have spaces where they can speak freely about men, for sure.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let me ask a more direct question. So there are men that are on the internet that are bashing women and speaking ill of women. Would you say that that space exists for women as well, for
Yeah,
them to bash and disrespect men as well?
this is what I will say about it, though. What it is not an organized movement like for like the manosphere, right? Where it's like you guys are, well, not you, but they are recruiting members, and every day it's growing, and they're creating this cult like environment. What I will say is that there are women who exist that have certain criticisms of men, and there were men who existed, but there's not an organized space. I guess you can call femininity or feminist movement. You can call that an organized space, right? These new feminists who have, you know, they have shows. But when I hear shows that are the opposite, because I listen to the manosphere, but I also want to listen to these women-centered groups, I don't hear that same level of men are, you know, this, or men are that, and we shouldn't date men because of this. Like, I don't hear that. I always hear different.
So the spaces where women are coming together, we don't need men. You're not important. All I need you for is the sperm, so I can have
I
a
only
baby. Like
hear
those
manosphere. Oh yeah. I've heard those groups. I do. I've seen those groups before where I don't really watch groups like that because I don't want to be attached to. I don't like to watch too much manosphere. I only do it for, you know, study purposes. But I do see groups like that, but they are very small. Like I don't know. They're not getting as much global
But see,
attention as the manosphere.
here's where and let's you know, please push back, right? If you feel. But here's the thing though. I feel like a lot of men experience those things in real life versus on YouTube. Because I can say
Experience what things like the men, women
the
bashing,
I don't need a man. You're here to worship me.
right?
I should be the center of your world. There are many women that don't believe that they don't have to, and y'all were talking about the fit, feminine, friendly, and all of that. There are women that just believe I should be able to sit on the couch and eat 4 cheeseburgers and you still love me for who I am.
Well, I don't know if women said I should be able to eat 4 cheeseburgers.
That
The
was a little
manosphere.
facetious, but
No, that's the manosphere who have decided to highlight the negative things that they feel about women and actually rephrase and reframe the conversation to fit their argument. That is exactly what the manosphere do. So they make you believe that women are saying, you should love me even if I'm fat and ugly, or I'm fat and undesirable to you, that you should love me. And women don't say that. That is what the manosphere reframes the conversations to. What people are doing, this body positivity movement, is women who are suicidal, right? Women who feel helpless, who have conditions that prevent them from losing weight, from all this stuff. This body positivity movement started to promote and help them feel better about themselves, because just because someone is overweight don't mean they deserve to feel like they should not be here and that their life is not valuable. Okay. So the body positivity movement has absolutely nothing to do with men. You have to love her for her. It's more about the woman making sure she values herself and understand her self-worth. If through that journey she decides to lose weight or whatever, that's fine. But the initial goal of that is to educate women, to make women feel empowered. It has absolutely nothing to do with us telling men that you have to accept us the way we are. Men have reframed that entire movement to be surrounded by, oh, then that means that y'all saying we gotta accept y'all for like this. Why? Why do men do that? Why do they connect things that's not even connected?
I think there was some exaggeration in what he was saying, but we have heard things like,
Yeah.
but we have heard statements like, a real man will accept me for how I am, for who I am, things like that. And that could be misinterpreted sometimes.
Yes.
But we have heard that. And so like this manosphere thing has a birth date on it. It came out of some place. And I guess one of the architects of it would be this guy called Outtake. When he talks about him creating this space, he says the necessity was that all the other existing outlets are controlled by women, and there's no outlet controlled by men to get a men's point of view out. To where the point that like men felt like if they really said how they really felt, they'd be the victim of no fault divorce, or get fired, or get canceled, and so he wanted to create the space. I think they initially created it just so a male can have his perspective led by him and not by a board of women, like at BET or all the magazines that exist and things like that. This is all a woman's perspective, because they have the Black Girls Rock thing, and we don't have one. So that's where it started. Okay. And they started to let like every man that had a voice in. And so now then it turned into like this vitamin crew, pick a pill, that you're going to swallow. And then it turned into like you seeked in some of the men that hate women, some of that seeped in. And then they all tried to identify the same umbrella, and now we got all the friction. And it comes off real bad to women looking at it as a whole from the outside, especially when they new to it. And they coming in when it's already been corrupted.
But it's centered in Eurocentric views. Like a white man actually started this entire movement, this entire thought of the alpha man. It's connected to the study of monkeys. You do know that, right? Like,
Right.
so this entire movement, you guys are centered your entire manosphere theory
That's not fair.
on the study of monkeys.
That's not fair.
Here's the
Let's
thing.
make it
That's
fair
not
by
fair.
saying we can make it
What I'm
fair by
saying
saying
is
that
monkeys were observed. Then they said, okay, there's an alpha monkey who exists, right? And then everybody follows that monkey, that alpha man, that alpha monkey he controls, but he also don't have all the complex characteristics that humans have. So we have decided to take that study related to human behavior and somehow validate it based on that. And then white men kind of started this movement, right? And then you black men kind of chimed in and followed. But even the white men in the manosphere criticize the black men because they know that you guys don't even have the level of control that they have in this world. They compare you guys and they criticize you within the manosphere. So we're following Eurocentric views that don't even respect you as a black man in the community. They don't see you as equal or value your opinion. But you guys are bringing that mentality to our community.
White men are going to speak ill of black men simply because they're black men. they
why follow their views?
They have a negative connotation about me and my hair, my tattoos. They have a negative connotation about black men as a whole. But to say, why do you follow that study? Is there value in what they're saying? I'm not saying I agree with, but is there value in what he's saying? Like sometimes there's value in science.
So like the whole thing is this: we tend to adopt Eurocentric ideologies like weight that we was talking about with the BMI, like what you were just speaking of, because we're in a country where the Europes won the war, and so they set the standards on how shit go here, and so we just tend to fall into that out of like, this is they shit, this they country. So we tend to follow that as it is being the norm. I'm not saying we have to, but it's like second nature to do so when we live here.
So now that we know that,
right,
we should do.
Hell no, I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying I can understand why it would be second nature for most men to follow behind it because they grew up here. However, when you think for yourself, see, like I know about it because I want to know about everything that exists so I can determine for myself what's right and what's wrong, what my belief system is. By saying that, like I'm not saying follow it, but I do see how it could be. It's just like religion. You know, if you grow up here in America, you're gonna know a little bit about Christianity.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here, AJ. AJ, tell me your thoughts on this, because I know this conversation went crazy.
Yeah, it did. First of all, salute to Mr. O, man. Seen you on a couple of these shows and everybody else. And Juana, I got to give you some credit because I have not been on camera in a long time. I like to hang out behind the scenes, and it's more fun to hang out and chat.
I'm so happy you made an appearance.
Yeah, but you kind of inspired me, and the conversation was a bit spicy. There were a lot of good points that were being made. I do understand where a lot of the vitriol comes from, when we're aiming it towards, the manosphere and that entire thing. I also I understand the point that Mr. O is making about where, the origin was. And actually, Mr. Watts or Hunter Watts was talking about it didn't start that way. Right. It didn't start with all the crazy stuff. It didn't start with, a lot of the vitriol and the just what seemed to be just nothing but hate spewed towards women. A couple of the points that I did want to hit real quick, though, were the first thing was so saying that 1.56 million people is a small number. Right. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And the reason I say that,
what was the 1.56 million referring
to? Followers?
So Kevin Samuel's subscribers,
okay.
1.56 million people. For anybody to say that that's a small number, I mean, we are being willfully obtuse at this point. You know, that is a ton of people.
Right.
That I would say that anybody in this YouTube space would kill to have that kind of following, right? That's a huge following. And then on top of that, it's 1.5 million people who know somebody, who knows somebody, who knows somebody. Okay. So when we bring up anecdotal experiences of I don't know anybody who knows this guy, well, I know a lot of people that do.
Right.
And I've run into folks myself that I had no idea they even knew. Matter of fact, there's a guy at my job right now. We just had a conversation about some content creation stuff. Because he knew about him. You know, and I don't know this guy from a can of paint. So that was really one thing. The other thing is, Mr. O, you hit the nail on the head. This is where we're at. We are in the US of A. So there is a lot of stuff here, you know, that we didn't come here originally. So we kind of had to assimilate. And we're still, even at this point, trying to figure it out with our freedom. You know what I'm saying? So we're still trying to figure it out to this day. So there are some standards that we're trying to apply ourselves to.
Right.
And I don't want to filibuster this because I got a whole lot to say. So I want to let everybody jump in. But the other piece that I did want to throw in here, because I do want to be part of this conversation, is one thing is I am married as well. My 10-year anniversary is in 6 months. So I know how this marriage shit works.
Okay.
Okay. And the other piece to it is just we got to learn how to communicate better. And I think that these spaces, these channels, the channels that you all have, is a great start to that. So that's just kind of what I wanted to get. Oh, and last piece, and I would love to talk about this later on or maybe on a future show. I'm actually a full-blown atheist and my wife is a believer. So, you know, and we make it work and it works well. So, but we'll get into all of that.
Okay. You stay on because you've been married 10 years. You got all kinds of things going on. Okay, so we need you. What do you think about the manosphere, though? It's like yay or nay. How do you feel about it?
So I can't say that I didn't subscribe to some of that stuff in the beginning when I first started to dive into whatever it was. I was in a Facebook group. Somebody dropped that first viral video, and the minute I saw it, I was like, this dude is full of shit. That's the first thing. My first reaction was, this dude is full of shit. And then as I started to dive into it, you know, there was a lot of validity to a lot of things that were said. Like, one of the things that's very true is, you know, women being born with value, men having to build their value. You know, there is definitely a difference in society, as in, if I'm only making $20K a year, I'm going to be looked at different versus me making that 6-figure salary. You know, we know the difference, you know. So that's some of the stuff that I agree with. The other part about masculinity, and Jen made a couple points. Hey, Jen, it's nice to meet you, by the way. So the point being made about intimidation, right? So when we talk about, you know, masculine energy coming from a woman, it's not about intimidation. It's just that it's not attractive. Now, I get the point that, you know, the general man is not going to make a statement about that. You know, that's not part of my day-to-day vernacular. I don't sit around and call women, you're being masculine and you're this and you're that, you know, but it is something that's being pointed out now that it can come off as, you know, unattractive. And I'm going to actually give you guys, there's a channel out there. Matter of fact, I'm not plugging no other channels outside of y'all space, but there is a channel out there that has typically a panel of women. And these women are so over the top and raw and aggressive that I usually have to turn it off. You know, so that's just some examples of kind of what we're talking about. But you asked the question, is it a yay or nay? I'm a nay today, but I do understand some of the talking points.
Monica, can I respond to?
Yes, please. Go ahead, Jen.
You made about my comments. What race are you?
So I'm Black and Italian and Spanish.
Black, Italian, and Spanish. And what's your name?
AJ.
Hi, AJ. Okay, so what do you know anything at all about reggaeton music?
Oh yes, I'm actually a DJ also, so I'm quite acutely aware of reggaeton.
Okay, so had you not been a DJ, do you think you would have heard of Bad Bunny? Do you know who Bad Bunny is?
I do know who Bad Bunny is. Probably not.
Okay. Do you know that he's the #1 streamed artist globally 2 years in a row? Did you know that?
No, it's not. I mean, I'm not looking at who's the most popular. I go like top 20 lists when I'm doing
Okay.
events.
My point is, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the most
Mm-hmm.
streamed artist 2 years in a row, Bad Bunny globally, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
you would say what artist wouldn't want to be #1 streamed artist in the world 2 years in a row?
I
That's
get
a
where you're going.
lot of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of people streaming him, right?
Right.
A lot of people. Any artist would want to be that. But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know who Bad Bunny is, what does it mean to you? It doesn't mean anything, right? He doesn't exist in your world, in your realm. He doesn't exist. So when you say the 1.5 million, it's not a lot of people. It's a lot of people to you because you either advocate for that man, he resonates with you, or you're in that circle. But when you look at them, and not only that, but not everybody following Kevin Samuels likes Kevin Samuels. They're trying to follow his formula. Okay. Some people are trying to keep up with current times of what's going on YouTube. Some of them are women who like him. Some of them are women who don't like him. So they can have talking points for their shows that are anti-manosphere. Some men like him, and some men are just following his formula. So when you say 1.5 million people, I'm sorry, it's very, very tiny in comparison to the population of men in the United States, because let's face it, out of the country, who's really into Kevin Samuels? And then it gets even smaller because you're talking about black men. The majority of his followers are black men. That's why I mentioned being black famous, right? And it's a certain demographic, because like I said, all I know is black men. And I've asked many, like you said, everybody you know knows who he is. Funny, everybody I know doesn't know unless they're a part of this, right? So 1.5 is very, very small. And, you know, when you look at the great scheme of things, so it's not me being obtuse. And as far as the masculine, feminine energy, when you say that it's not attractive to you, but you're not attractive to me. So my point before was, why would I care what man deems a woman masculine when the men in my life haven't complained about that? I've never heard out of the lips of a man that a woman is masculine, because a man is in his full masculinity, was my point. So a man is not thinking that something other than a man is masculine. It'd be kind of silly, right? That's like me looking at, say, a trans woman or a gay man, right? Feminine how? You will never be a woman, right? You will never be a biological woman. You can act a certain way, but you're not a biological woman. And I'm not intimidated by a trans woman or a gay man acting like a woman, because I know, unfortunately for them, they'll never be a woman. So I'll never be like, oh, why are you acting like the way I am? You're not who I am. So that's why when I look at men, when men say, well, you're acting masculine, then you must feel feminine. In order to say something is masculine, in my opinion, you have to be feminine. Like I look at men and I love their masculinity, right? It's different from me because I'm a woman. I'm feminine, right? So I can see it and admire it and love it, but I can never say you're feminine. You can never be feminine. You can never be a woman. So that's the point I made with that. And as far as who thinks is attractive and who isn't, like I would never date you. I would never date a Kevin Samuels. I would never date a Donovan Sharp. I would never. So my point was to women, who gives a damn what these men find unattractive when these men are unattractive to you? That was the point that I was making. We could all throw words around, right? I can say that you're unattractive to me, you're overweight, I don't like you sitting at the computer all day, but it doesn't matter because you married somebody who loves all of that, right? So why would you care what I think? So my point to women was, why do women care what these men think when they're 9 times out of 10 are not their type and they're not attractive to them? So
AJ, what do you say?
Not that you're not allowed an opinion, but your opinion only counts in your world. Kevin Samuels having 1.5 million followers and it's a big deal is only in your world, in your ball, and the men that you know that know Kevin Samuels. Outside of that, you can go to a corporate office and ask a black man, the first black man you see, do you know who Kevin Samuels is? I don't know. Who is that? And I'm telling you, I've had those conversations with my friends.
Because to your point, I do follow Kevin Samuels, and I only follow him because I want to, have I guess, material for my show. I don't follow him because I subscribe to the manosphere. You
I don't
understand?
know men who are my friends who I feel are high value, right? Quote unquote, you know, the manosphere version of high value. And I've told them to come on my panel because I wanted to discuss the Kevin Samuels talking points, and they don't know who he is. So I'm like, I have to school them on it. Okay, this is his character on YouTube. He thinks X, Y, and Z. These are his talking points. And then, you know, the men are like, okay, cool. Then I can discuss that in general, but they don't know who he is. So 1.5 million doesn't mean anything to someone who doesn't know who he is. Like, I can ask Mr. O, do you know who Bad Bunny is? He can say absolutely not, never heard of him. Yet he's the number one streamed artist in the world.
Right.
So if it doesn't exist in your world, it doesn't exist.
I see.
Yeah, I know who Bad Bunny is, and I don't listen to the music, but I know. But let's just say what he was saying was different. Let's say
but
what
I don't know who that is, and so she's right.
Right,
Yeah.
but let's just say it. Let's just say it. Let's say it different because we ain't gonna get nowhere. Let's just say what he was saying different.
Okay.
Let's say 1.5 million is a significant influence. It's a middle of the road city. It's a small, not a small city. Oakland ain't but 900,000. Like a 1.5 million is a city, you know. So that's a significant influence. We ain't gonna say it's a lot, but we can't say it ain't nothing.
And
It's
to-
a significant influence.
But let's
And
be accurate. Let's be accurate. It's nothing to the world.
But yeah, but I mean that's because like Iowa don't mean nothing to the world, right? The whole state. We can out of all 50. Some of these
But do you
little states,
understand, Jim?
significant amount of people, but it don't mean that we're not thinking about what's going on in these small states or towns. That's what you're saying. Like it's not as it doesn't matter to the masses, I guess, when you, in the grand scope of things, but it does have an influence.
Well,
That's
Mr.
of a
O,
significant
but do you think because we're in this space that we're more connected to it and we think that it's more popular than it is? Like when you're in real life, do you think people really care about alpha man, beta man, this
Nah.
that?
No, like no,
No.
real
You
guys.
know what I'm saying?
I heard about Kevin Samuels because there were some guys in the world that came to me and was like, some of the things that he's saying, I heard you say them. You know, some of the things, not all of them, but and they've introduced me to him. So it comes, and these people were from California. Like it reaches, he has a reach. And he was birthed out of that space. He was birthed out of the manosphere. That's where he came
So
up.
I do want to give AJ a chance to respond because I did think he was going to respond right after Mr. O. What?
Yeah.
I just want to say, I didn't say he didn't have a reach. I said outside of the people he reaches, he means nothing. I'm an atheist, right? So what's a god to me?
Hey, atheist squad.
Yeah, yeah, y'all both for it.
Yeah. You know, there were a lot of points, so I can't really recall. I had a few things to say, so I'll try to recall as much as I possibly can. But not to get too deep into the semantics, because I think in this point it's subjective, right? You're saying that 1.5 million people is small in the grand scheme when it comes to the world, and then I could offer that same argument if we were to talk about, let's just say, police brutality and police shootings. Oh well, it's only a few, or I mean, I don't know anybody that personally got shot by the police, but that doesn't mean, but police brutality is not a thing because it doesn't exist in my world. So that's why I say that it's not necessarily a fair argument. I know it's a bit of a, it's a stretch, but at the same time, though, it's an experience. Yeah. So just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And that's why when we start to have conversation, when we start to bring anecdotes into discussions, then I get it, right? Because then I could easily say, well, I've been married for 10 years. People are getting married everywhere. Or we could speak generally and pull up the statistics that Tawana spoke about on the previous stream, which is the numbers don't really show that. So I think when it comes down to these conversations, it's about speaking generally. And I love you. I think it's you that put the sign that goes, but not all, right? I actually love when you put that sign up because it's a true fact, right? We all know not all, right? Not all. Right. And up level, no, it's not a false equivalency because we're talking about experience. We're talking about what's in your bubble. If I attend a school where all the kids in the school are educated, it's a lot of money, there's a lot of money being dumped in this private school, then my experiences growing up in that privileged area, even if I might be a black male, white male, whatever, that's my experience. But I can't discredit the experience of the poor man or those that grew up in a poor area, because that's not my experience. And that's what all of this is about. That's what all of this is primarily about. So I guess that's kind of the only thing I could remember from the stuff you're talking about. And then, I guess in the other pieces, when we talk about like artists and stuff, I mean, there are country artists I don't know squat about, but there's millions and millions and millions of people that follow them. And it's a widespread influence. So that's pretty much all I have to say. But I appreciate your points.
All right, Mr. O. I know I'm sorry if you was trying to finish up a point. I just wanted AJ, because I knew he was forgetting what he what was response.
It's crazy. Oh, you writing it down? I thought Jen was coming off the head, because I'm like, she's just ready. She responded to every point.
No, I didn't write anything down. I was listening.
Yes, you be ready. You cold. You throw the little jabs in too. Like,
yeah, she was like, I would never date you. I'm like, all right. That's cool.
I didn't mean it in the bad way, but the truth is harsh. I didn't mean you probably wouldn't date me, and I'm okay with that. I am perfectly okay with that.
You're right.
The truth is harsh.
Yeah, because a lot of men in the manosphere, that's what they say. I'll never date you. I'd be like, I know, because I would never date you.
Right.
And I've never dated men like you ever in my life. You know what I'm saying? So why would I start now? And so I think that our point is that sometimes, yes, that 1.5 million, and like 1.5 million includes me. So all of them are not men, right? Some of them are women, and a lot of them are women. Does that represent the mindset of men, right? Because I think that we think, oh yeah, that's a lot of people that he have influence over, but is it really in a scheme of things, right? When you're really outside in the real life, do people really like have that mentality? I don't know.
Well, she also does, not to cut you off, but Jen does bring up a good point that not everybody that's following him rocks with him too, right? A lot of us watch it just for entertainment purposes too.
Exactly.
So there's validity to that.
That's right.
But it, like to what Jen was saying, it only matter if you're like checking for any of that in your life. Jen and Wanna are like two of the like biggest anomalies out of this whole dating pool. There ain't a lot of these type of women out here in their age bracket looking the way they do and want what they want. Like even Wanna said earlier, she's like one of the biggest anomalies. She had 2 kids and she still got a man with no kids, and she married. Like that don't be happening like in the droves of women. And so it's a lot of women that because so not only when there wasn't a father in the home did they leave a little boy not knowing how to be a man, but it also left a little girl not knowing what a man is either. And so like a lot of women are tuned into YouTube, this great internet, when it came out, because they want to hear what men got to say. And it's a big responsibility on men to give them what they need, man. But it's just being tainted. It's being saturated with everybody with hidden agendas. And you're not really, but I understand why guys would follow it, because they trying to figure out how to be men. No different than I understand why women would like tune in and call in, because they trying to figure out how to get one. But y'all not looking for one.
Yeah. And that's a good point, what the burner cow said. Like even these so-called red pill men would date us. I feel like I've dated somebody that called themselves red pill.
Well, they're not going to deny that y'all aren't attractive. I mean, folks aren't blind, but when it comes down, I mean, look, Megan Good's about to get divorced, right? Halle Berry can't keep a man. It's not about how great you look. It's about how compatible you are with somebody.
That's true.
Yeah.
We can keep going. Vivica Fox. Claudia Joy.
Let's keep it fair. Attractive people, mainstream attractive people, average people, and people with no looks are in and out of relationships.
Look at the red pill guys, though, man. Like these aren't guys with any game, any charisma. Like Donovan Sharp, the Fresh and Fit guy, these are squares.
Yeah, they're terrible.
How are you listening to these guys to teach you how to be?
But why do people listen to them? What is that emotional?
They have a mass following.
They have a lot of people who listen.
My homeboy, Riff Raff, a white rapper from Houston, is like one of the biggest gimmicks.
Riff Raff, I know that
they would say in the whole world. But why he made $10 million last?
Right.
And he got an endorsement deal from Monster. Everybody got an audience.
I will say,
following, man.
I will say, Fresh and Fit, the Fresh and Fit group, them guys, they're more popular because they bring a bunch of women on, they scream at them, and then they get them pissed off enough to throw them out. So that's why that channel blew up as much as it did. Well, it blew up because Kevin Samuels came and visited, and then from there. So if you look at all of their other content, which is like the men improvement type stuff, nobody's watching that shit.
But the sad part about it is they are charging $1,000 to talk to these little boys, and they are paying for that. They have a following enough that they can produce a large amount of money off them consultations they doing, trying to give men advice.
Scamming. That's
$1,000.
I was saying that they prey on men who are vulnerable and men who really want that guidance from other men. And I think that it is sad to see, because those men are the men who need a lot of emotional support. And these
boys need daddies too. A lot of these young males need daddies too. It ain't just the girls out here that need daddies. There's a lot of these little boys, they need men.
I know 100 Watts does subscribe to the manosphere. What do you have to say? I mean, tell us what we're missing from the manosphere.
So for me, in my life in its entirety, I know how to select information that I need, right? I've had, teachers or big homies or mentors or whatever. I've had many people in my life that want to always give game. They always have information. They always want to push something out. But I use the information that's important for me. I use the information that I need for me. So when I go on Fresh and Fit and they're doing a whole bunch of hoopla and blah, 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 and yelling, none of that matters to me. The only thing that I pick up is, all right, he made mention of how he focused on getting his business together. Now, not these guys in particular. The only reason I use that name is just because AJ just mentioned them. But I make sure that I pick the information that I need from people based on what I need. There's one person that I watch in particular, and when I watch his content, I feel as though when I listen to him, he is objective about the way that he speaks. Do I agree with him all the time? No, definitely not. But I believe that he has an objective point of view to where I can at least watch the content. I can at least watch this 12-minute video and listen to his point of view.
I see 100 Watts. This is what I don't understand about y'all. How do you think that the source doesn't matter and the history of this entire movement doesn't matter to you? Because if I'm following something, if I'm saying I'm a feminist, well, but I really do love men and I really do want to get married. Well, feminist is against that, and you follow that, right? I'm not saying that they are. What I'm saying is, if I'm learning that feminism is against all of the things that I say I love, I care about, and I still follow them, is that okay?
So let's use that for an example. Feminism was not created to say women don't need men. Feminism was created for women to have.
Answer my question.
I got you. I'm gonna walk right into it. Feminism was created for women to have equal rights for things such as voting and things of that sort. So when a feminist group comes together and say, "Hey, we're here to fight for equal wages," you can stand for that fight, but that doesn't mean that you agree with them when they say more women need to be in charge of this, that, and the other, or men need to stop doing this, or y'all need to. It doesn't mean that you agree with every point.
But if I identify as a feminist, if I identify as a feminist and say that I am a feminist, then if I say I'm a part of the manosphere, not that I am happy that that feminists fought for me to be able to have a job and the rights that I have, right? But do I identify as a feminist? Do I study them? Do I follow feminist groups? No, I don't. But are you a part of the manosphere? Do you study it? Do you follow manosphere? Do you follow the theories and the ideology?
The same process I have for the manosphere is probably the same process you have for Kevin Samuels.
Okay.
Right. But the reason why I speak on it the way I do is because I do believe that it is very necessary for men to have a space to be able to speak and learn certain things, because the relationship I have with my father is not the same relationship I had with my father when I was in high school, when I needed a man to help guide me through how to interact with women. I needed a man to help me through that. I didn't have it. I was raised by my mother. You see what I'm saying? So because I didn't have that, I didn't know where to get the information. So now that this space does exist for men to be able to come up and say, hey, man, like, hey, my biggest thing, me personally, and this is me personally, my biggest thing when it comes to men and getting what you want, my biggest thing is focus on yourself, bro. Your mission, getting your mental health together, getting yourself in whatever shape you feel comfortable with, right? Getting educated, all of that. It's focused on
let me let
once
Jen ask you. She have a question for you too. 100 watts. Go ahead, Jen.
First, I want to say I agree with him. It's very important for men to have that space and that outlet. The problem with this space and this outlet is that it's toxic and vitriolic. So, to tell a young Black man, hey, listen to this guy because he talks about economics in between telling women their womb ain't no good after the age of 25, to me is problematic. It's problematic. And my question to Watts is, I hear a lot of I think what you just said is like that, I eat the meat and spit out the bones theory. But there's so many positive Black men and other races of men talking about finances, economics, family, raising sons online. Why is it that there's such a lure for Black men with these caricatures of positivity? Because they're caricatures of positivity, no different than Cynthia G, right? I've heard Cynthia G say, some Black men are good, and if you got one, you should hold on to him, right? I've heard, Cynthia G talk about finances and stuff like that, but the rest of her content is so vitriolic. Why would I need a Cynthia G because she's talking about finances every 15 minutes in an hour of her bashing Black men? That's what I don't understand. Like, what's the lore with these men? If you're really about, I want to learn finances, I want to get my mind right, mental health is important, I need to know how to, relate to a woman, I need to, improve my finances and why not deal with men who are only doing that as content? Why deal with these caricatures of positivity? That was my question.
So, what responsibility do men like you have to clean up the trash in the manosphere? So, to be honest, in terms of the manosphere, I spend a small amount of time on there. I spend such a small amount of time. Most of the information that, if I'm going to be honest, most of the information that I receive in terms of where I'm at in my life right now, if no one's ever heard of David Shands, Sleepers for Suckers, Social Proof Podcast, that's where I go. I binge watch those videos. They talk about business stuff. They talk about marketing and building relationships. They talk about all of these different kinds of things. Honestly, I didn't focus much on the manosphere until I started working on my own content. Right. And anyone who is, because I've been in creating content since like 2015. So anyone who is anywhere familiar with my content, the whole, like, all this manosphere stuff is brand new. Like we have an episode tomorrow talking about who's the greatest wrestler of all time. Like my conversations with my people are completely different. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, what I do understand is I have to make sure, even if I don't agree with them, some of these dudes are completely off the wall and I will never carry any of their talking points. I need to be able to be aware of what's out there because I do have a 3-year-old son that I'm trying to raise as well. So I have to make sure that the points that I'm giving him aren't flawed. So when I hear someone else giving flawed points, I know that I'm standing on a solid point.
I see. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Watts. I'm going to let Mr. Beston come in and give his opinion. I appreciate you. Unless somebody else has something else to say.
Yeah, I wanted to say,
okay, go ahead.
If we can take out the manosphere and Kevin Samuels, have y'all heard of Jordan Peterson? The white guy?
Have you heard of Jordan Peterson?
I'm a big fan of Jordan Peterson.
Right. So, and it seemed like when he speak about the things, it's more acceptable, or women receive it different. He's not saying too much different than a lot of the manosphere talking points, but he's delivering it in a different way. And
They say he speaks with compassion.
he has a background to go with it too.
Yes, he does. He's a clinical psychologist.
Right.
That does matter,
And
though.
so he delivers it from that standpoint. And outside of that, man, what we didn't address is why he's speaking that way, and from that standpoint, it does have a lot to do with what the man actually wants. And we getting pushback on it, like we're just saying what we want. But y'all's response to that is nobody, like I think you said something like you can't tell women how to be. And I don't think we saying that. I'm just saying, well, if that's what you're saying you want to be, I'm telling you what I want. So we could be cool, but I'm gonna just go get what I want. I'm not saying you all got to be this way. I don't think they're saying all women should be one way. They're just saying what they want in a woman. And if that ain't you, then they're not gonna choose you.
I just think that what we're saying is that women are changing and becoming what men are saying they want, and still not getting the results.
You think
There's no changes. They want to be married, so they're adjusting to do what you guys want, and then you guys still are not marrying them.
No, because I know somebody that's pretending to be something they not. You can't teach a woman hygiene overnight. You can't teach a woman how to be a OCD about her cleaning. You know, like that ain't something. If I say I want a clean woman, a woman that cleans the house, keep my house clean, she gonna have that already. I can't tell somebody I want that and then she become that. She don't have those habits. So I'm not gonna marry somebody that's trying to be something I want. I'm just gonna go get what I want. And there's women out there that are able to give you what you want. I don't want it to sound like we saying y'all need to change. Cause I appreciate y'all for who y'all are. I love y'all. And I got a lot of women that I know that I won't be in any type of relationship with, but I have a tremendous amount of respect for and admiration.
Yeah.
Like this girl that comes over that she lives down the street, and she's like a sister to me. Not in a way like she's very attractive, but we can't have anything. But I have so much respect for this woman, so much. I'm not trying to make her be anything I want. I appreciate her for who she is. But when it comes to me getting what I want, what I got to live with, what I got to give up half my stuff for, what I got to dive in front of bullets for, I want to just go get that, and it exists in its own package already. Like the analogy in the Bible says, a man that findeth a wife, meaning she's already that. He didn't teach her how to be that, and she didn't just learn how to be. She's already that. She was groomed that. He's going to go get his wife or his partner. It already exists, those qualities. We're just now able to say what we want because we was afraid to say we wanted for so long for the fear of backlash, because all the outlets was controlled by the woman's mind.
I just don't get that.
I don't. What women own what media sources? I'm really curious.
Yeah.
This.
Well, okay. Let's not say they own. Let's say it backwards. Let's say it backwards. Then let's not say that women own, but there was no solely male dominated point of view in any media outlet. Like I can't name a magazine like that. There's no magazines that men dominate that get out our point of view regularly to the masses. I don't think there's any media outlets or maybe radio stations like some of those sports on AM radios.
Yeah, men dominated. They dominated the sports industry.
The sports, yeah.
That's what they interested in.
But no outlet where we could say what we wanted in women and speak how we felt without fear of being canceled, divorced, or fired.
Because that was always known to be a feminine trait. You do know that, right? Like let's not gloss over that. Let's not gloss over that.
That's like, part of the problem.
Wait, let me,
because it comes off emotional and kitchen bitching.
Right,
you know, right.
Women were known for being the complainers and the naggers and wanting their men to change and trying to make their men change. It was a very feminine trait. And I think now men want to sit in their femininity and not get criticized for it. But when women were sitting in their femininity all those years, men were constantly telling them, you're too emotional. You nag too much. You always have something to say. Stop talking, right? That's what we got. That's the heat that we got. That's why I don't comprehend men saying we never said anything to women. Are you kidding me? Ball and chain. You look better when you're quiet. You need to be in the kitchen. Why are you talking? Stop talking out of turn. Don't talk when men are talking. So I don't comprehend this world that existed where men weren't allowed to speak when we live in a very patriarchal
right.
planet.
There's like the male narrative hasn't been hidden. Like we've always like displayed our dominance, but I think we just maybe they're comparing it to like Black Girls Rock and Ebony Magazine and Jet Magazine,
Well,
and
that's not the same thing. That's
and
not
Black Girls
Cosmopolitan was a big one too. Cosmopolitan, that was like
a comparison because that has nothing.
Yeah.
Those outlets were to uplift women. Those outlets had nothing to do with relationships, right? That those outlets were not telling women.
Those were not to devalue men.
Right? They were not meant. The manosphere.
Hey, I'm getting the backlash for creating the manosphere. I didn't create it. I'm just saying why they did. That's why.
I don't even think. I think that what you are, right, is very valid, and I understand what you're saying. But connecting it to the manosphere doesn't make sense because the manosphere is a whole other thing than what you're talking about. I understand what you're talking about, and it makes perfect sense. I'm saying the manosphere is a whole different situation, and I think it's a very feminine motivated movement where men are being emotional and they're nagging and they're trying to change women now. Same thing women were doing and got criticized for. So all I'm saying is men better, you want to put on the big girl panties, be prepared to be criticized the same way women were being criticized when we were being nagging and emotional and sitting in groups at the hair salon and complaining about our men, right? Now men are doing that. So now we're looking at y'all like, hold up, wait a minute.
They're gonna get what they asked for even doing this. Cause like, I said before, it does come off like a men liberation movement. It just does. It comes off that way. So they're gonna get what they deserve. The backlash is warranted. I get why you're doing it, but I just was speaking to the birth date on it and why it came about and what they were saying, guys like O'Shea and them, they were saying why they started the space. For those reasons, because they wanted to, we're not going to take it anymore. They wanted to do that.
But they didn't start the space. They just stole it from mainstream America.
But check out
they
Jordan.
Stole it from white men. So they're just really just coming over and bringing, something that became popular in white culture to our cultures. That's all they're doing.
I'm glad you said it and not Jen, because if Jen would have said that, they would have been all over her about when you said monkeys. Oh no, they ain't gonna like that. They don't like. They're not gonna want to hear that.
I don't care what they want to hear. The alpha man mentality is the study of monkeys. That is what happened.
It just hurts when you say it. Like they're gonna be like, "Oh,
okay." Well, that's what they did. What they did, a man studied monkey behavior and he identified that there was an alpha monkey. There was a monkey that controlled the bunch, who all the women desired. And he talked about that behavior, and a white man took that theory and applied it to human behavior.
So would it be more valuable? Would it be more valuable if they study wolves instead of monkeys?
I was gonna say, because they talk about it's in wolves and lions and stuff. It's it's a lot bigger than just
but y'all don't do that. Y'all study monkeys and related it to human behavior. Y'all said, I'm gonna take this animal. I feel like this is something that I can learn.
I'm gonna need you to stop saying y'all.
Because the monkeys are genetically set up more similar. Monkeys are set up more genetically to humans.
What you say, Mr. Dustin? Go ahead, because I know you've been waiting for a while. I wanted you to go ahead and say your point.
Shout out to everybody in the panel. Thank you for wanting to have me on your show. I appreciate it. What's going on, Jen? What's going on, Mr. O, AJ, 100 Watts, my bro. What's good? Conversation with King. What's going on? Listen, this is my thought on the manosphere and just that whole, thing. If you don't like what's in the supermarket, don't shop there. Point blank, period. They have their following. They have people that like them, people that don't like them. Now, I do believe that for men who are younger or who may not have guidance, it can be dangerous or toxic for them, right? Now, that's where their parents come in, or a guidance counselor, or some religious guy that they follow. That's where they need to come in and step in and guide them the right way. If they don't have any guidance, then yes, it could be toxic for them, or it could be helpful, just depending on that person. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, them, Fresh and Fit, O'Shea, all them dudes, they got a following right now. Will it last forever? Probably not. But they have a following right now. And at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, they're doing that because they know that it's profitable for them. They found a way. They broke the code on what's gonna make them money. You know what I'm saying? And this is America. This is a capitalistic society that has no moral base. You know what I mean? It's not based on moral standards or values. It's based on how can I make money. You know what I'm saying? And we all talk about how we want to be monetized, how we want to make money. Well, they found a way. You know what I'm saying? They found a way to make it work for them. You know what I mean? I don't agree with everything they say. I could only probably watch maybe 5 to 10 minute clips of what these people talk about. Because that's how much of BS I think it is. But at the end of the day, they got it. You know what I mean? And I want my channel to get to that point where we got it like that. Where people are listening to us for certain things and going to us. But at the moment, that ain't the case. At the moment, they have a following. And, you know, a lot of men subscribe to this, or males subscribe to this. You know what I mean? And they want to believe what they want to believe. But at the end of the day, you got to find out what works for you. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't work for you, don't subscribe to it. Don't watch it. Don't even let it influence you. But if it does and you feel like it's helpful and it has helped you in whatever way it has, you know what I mean, then do what you got to do. But, you know, right now they got it going. I'm not even going to say unfortunately, but right now they got it going. And, you know, it won't last forever. So for those of us who feel like they have done things that are toxic or that are demeaning to women, you know what I mean, definitely, you know, have your voice and let it be known. You know what I mean? These are the points that I feel like are toxic to women. These are the points that I feel like are breaking up relationships, that are not helping people get together, they're not helping people to get married, all those things. Definitely choose it. But at the same instance, you gotta understand that, you know, at the moment right now, there are people who like what they're subscribing to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I hate orange juice. I would never drink orange juice ever. You know what I mean? The only time I drink orange juice is when I was laid up in the hospital early this year. You know what I mean? But outside of that, I would never touch it. My wife loves it. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, get that away from me. But that's what she likes. I'm an apple juice type of cat. You know what I mean? That's what I like. So that's what I drink. You know what I mean? So choose what works for you.
Okay, let's say this, Mr. Best and Low. Yes, they have started this movement, but just like the feminist movement, we have a right to criticize it, and we have a right to poke holes in the theories, and we have a right to, you know, challenge the logic of the entire movement. And it is a toxic male separatist movement. I'm sorry, it is. And a lot of people don't acknowledge it for what it is. I called it the feminist movement years ago. I like what Mr. O said, though, that it's a men liberal movement, and it really truly is. But let me clear up my comment. I was not calling men monkeys. Okay, Mr. O, that's not what I said.
No, I didn't say that. People just
no. I want to clear it up, because when you reiterated that, I don't want people leaving my channel saying Tawana called men monkeys. That's not what I said. What I said was the term alpha was created by a primatologist, a British primatologist, okay? And he studied chimpanzees, okay? I said monkeys just because I wanted to be funny, but he studied chimpanzees and their behavior. And he coined the term alpha. And he said himself that we were using the whole entire wording of it out of context, because alpha men exhibit leadership qualities that alpha males in chimpanzee communities exhibit leadership qualities that we don't acknowledge or we don't talk about in human behavior. One of which they need the buy-in of the people who follow them. The women, especially the women. And you alpha men or manosphere men are making women separate from your entire movement. Some of the qualities that you need to be an alpha male is just not being exhibited. I'm sorry. Somebody y'all got to turn off YouTube. Y'all can't have YouTube on while you on the stream. Sorry.
Well, sis,
you got to mute, or you got to mute your I don't know who it is.
Let me say this, sis. Let me say this.
Yeah.
Yes, like I said in my last point, you do have a right to, you know what I mean, speak against it. But you saying it's toxic. You believe that it's toxic.
I did not call black men monkeys. See? See? I did not say that. I did not call black men monkeys.
I'm on the panel. They'll just blame me. Go ahead.
Since you believe that it's toxic, that's your perception. But some people may find it beneficial. Now, hold on.
I'm here to speak for the people who think like me.
But hear me out. Now listen. Now there are certain things that I actually agree with, as far as being your best self, you know, being the best man that you should be, earning money, find a career that works for you, being financially empowered, working out. Those things are great. All those things they're saying are great. Now, when they say that women are done after like 25, and when they're saying that, you know, a woman loses value as she ages and all that other stuff, I don't agree with that. You know what I mean? That's what I don't agree with. But other men do agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I know men that, you know, that I work with closely that agree with that. That's their perception. I believe that, you know, a person is a person. Like, you know what I mean? You know, to me, like, if you're beautiful, you're beautiful. Like, Halle Berry is Halle Berry. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? She ain't lose no value. You know, there ain't no man on here on this panel that if she asked you on a date, you would say no. You know what I'm saying? No, you wouldn't, though.
You said no, you wouldn't, huh?
Today, Halle Berry, I would have to deny, but you know, Boomerang Halle Berry, a little different.
Yeah, Boomerang.
We ain't got no shortage of men, so we ain't got to worry about Halle Berry. Okay, she
or any woman that's looked at as beautiful or looked at as attractive. If she comes up to you, you ain't never seen her before in public, and she actually comes up to you, whether it's Beyonce, her, or anybody else, and they say, "Hey, let's go on a date," you would probably be open to it. You know what I'm saying? Or you would at least think about it. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, so I don't believe in all that. I don't believe that women are done after 25. I don't believe that, you know, in order to be a high value man, you got to make a certain amount of money. I don't believe in all that. You know what I'm saying? That's what they believe in. Now, can those things be toxic? Yes. But some people find them helpful. You know what I mean? I think that it's a bunch of BS, and I think they're just going off of people. They're basically, to me, they're using the emotions of insecure men.
Yeah.
Or not secure in themselves, and they're giving them a platform. That's my perception, though. You know what I mean? These men may be secure, but to me, that's what I believe.
Can I address this from Jabari? Because he says that I'm confusing the men going their own way. That's what MGTOW means, that men going their own way. I'm confusing that with the overall manosphere. But what you don't understand is like that is a division of the manosphere. The manosphere has a division of men who are going their own way, who argue that women are so toxic that men should just avoid them altogether. That's part of the manosphere. Y'all know that, right?
It's actually not.
Yes, it is.
The red pill. Well, hold on. Well, hey, calm down.
Listen, y'all.
The red pill. So the red pill is primarily red pill, blue pill. That's kind of primarily the whole manosphere ideology, if you will. And then there are a whole lot of folks within the manosphere sect that actually denounce the MGTOW, the men going their own way movement. Most men in the red pill and on the blue pill side of the house. Actually, if you listen to them, they all want to be with and date women. They just tend to talk crazy and speak crazy to women, so it's counterproductive.
AJ, do you understand that all of that is under the umbrella of manosphere? Just like feminists have there's Black feminist movement, there's liberal feminists, there's all these different types, but it's under the umbrella of feminism. Same with the manosphere. This manosphere has 4 different levels. The men rights, these MGTOW people, these other men who are like pickup artists, and then they have all these different levels. And then here's the red pill people. That is only because there's obviously differences within the manosphere. But ultimately, the manosphere's goal is the same.
Yeah, the manosphere is like the bubble everything fits into.
That's right. That's right. It's the space. That's what I'm saying. I understand that everybody in the manosphere doesn't feel the same way and doesn't think the same.
Yeah, in there you got red pill, you got MGTOW, you got the other color pills. It's a whole bunch of vitamins in there.
Can I jump in here, Tawana? I wanted to address something Mr. Best said. I agree with him. I'm the type of person, which is weird, which I find weird on YouTube because it's so prevalent. Like people that don't like each other, people that don't like certain content, people that don't like a certain channel frequent those spaces, which is weird to me, right? I'm the type of person, once you turn me off, I don't like who you are, I'm done with you. Whether you're a TV show or a coworker or a relative, like I'm absolutely done with you. But in these spaces, people frequent, right, going to channels and stuff where they don't really like people and things like that. So I do agree with you. If you don't like the manosphere content, don't watch it. The problem is that it's so toxic and vitriolic that it's creating an atmosphere that's dangerous for women. That is a fact, right? That's not a myth. That's not some, not all. That is a fact. I've been attacked. Tawana's been attacked. There are other women that can say, I've been attacked and threatened. I've been threatened to be doxxed. I've been threatened, people to come to my address. So it's not a thing that we can ignore, like, well, if you don't like it, change the channel, because they're creating an environment. Sometimes women innocently don't even know why a man is yelling at her, you're not going to get married and you live with cats and you aged out and you hit the wall. Like, where is this coming from? We don't understand the language. We're like, what are you talking about?
Right.
So it's
like my sexual market value is low.
Right.
What?
It's creating a dangerous atmosphere. So if we have children and grandchildren and people that we love, we have to make people aware of this and we have to speak against it. We can't just be quiet because we don't like the channels, right? So that's one thing. I wanted to address something Mr. O said, how he's like, well, we're not telling all women what to do or telling women to change. That's exactly what the manosphere is doing, though. They're literally telling women, lower your voice, be more feminine, don't be so educated, don't care about education. They're literally telling women what to do in order to be attractive for a man. So I don't think you are, but I think that the manosphere in general, that's what they do. And I just find it real interesting that it's a bunch of single men telling a bunch of single women what they should be doing. Why married men are in this conversation at all, I don't know. But I do notice that it's an abundance of single men telling single women what to do, which is, it's hilarious to me. It's like an episode of Love and Hip Hop. All of you are fucked up, but all of you are claiming the other person is fucked up. It's like Love and Hip Hop, but on YouTube.
But on YouTube.
You're single and undesirable, and you're claiming they're single and undesirable, and they're reciprocating. It's like a smorgasbord of garbage. It's all garbage. And there is some entertainment in between.
Right.
But it still diminishes women, and it makes the environment dangerous for women. And the last thing I wanted to say was to Jabari in the comments, because he said we can't
what did he say?
We can't he said it's a bit naive to not, and I love Jabari. He said it's a bit naive to not believe that as they age, women don't lose value on the dating marketplace. That's nothing but misogyny. It's misogyny. Because if people lose value as they age, and I can say a man loses value, there's erectile dysfunction. There's, not enough swimmers to make a child. There's a pot belly that comes along. There's a receding hairline. You know what I mean? There hairs that grow out of your nose and ears.
Beer belly.
We can say the same thing about both men, because a woman who's young and attractive is going to want a man who's young and attractive, unless that man has a lot of money. And even then, she doesn't want you. She wants your money. So as men age, they also lose value. If people age and lose value, then everything that ages loses value, not just women. So it's naive to think that it's just women, because let's be clear, men with money that are older can get younger women, not just regular old men with pot bellies and receding hairlines. Okay, that's not happening. That's not happening either. So let's not be naive and think, well, men never age out or hit a wall, but women do. Come on now. I could post pictures up here of men that hit the wall as the manosphere states. So it's like that to me is very misogynistic, patriarchal. Oh, well, women lose value in the dating field. How you figure that? A woman can as long as her vagina works, right? A woman can always date men in her age bracket, younger and lower. There's a thing called a cougar. I've dated men 10 years younger than me. So you can't say that, it's a bit naive to think that women don't lose value. Then men lose value as well. unless they are wealthy. Men lose value as well. They lose their looks as well. Come on, what are we talking about here?
Well, let me say this, Jen.
Wait 1 minute. Let AJ go, and then you can go, Mr. Beston.
So Jen, you're absolutely correct when you're talking about value. At least in my opinion, you're correct when you're talking about value. And I think it's a pretty dangerous topic, or I should say just dangerous words when we say stuff like somebody loses value, or because you know how everybody talks about one man's trash is another man's treasure and blah. I'm not trying to call women trash, but you know what I'm saying. Just for argument's sake. Right. But I think one thing we want to at least be is a little bit honest about where, you know, the origin of the manosphere and what its original intent was. So before it got as popular as it did, and if you did go back just a couple of years, you can see like all of these channels had no traction, none. OK. And back then it was literally men talking to men, you know, and it was about that level up stuff, you know, get on your own purpose and take care of yourself, get yourself in the gym, level yourself up. It didn't transition until for the most part Kevin Samuels got super popular with that one viral video, right? And so what happened is from that point there was a large swath movement of so he noticed that there's a bunch of traffic, now I can get a bunch of money by talking to women. So in the way he speaks with women, and he tends to be a bit aggressive with women, that creates content that people want to see. So that's the right. So that's the part where I do agree with you all as far as it seems as though, because that's the popular space now within the manosphere, that it seems as though these men speak recklessly to women. And we've seen it. I've seen Tawana get speaking too crazy. I've seen Jen get speaking too crazy. And a lot of other women in this space get talked too crazy. I got in the middle of it when Tawana got, you know, yeah, we remember that whole scenario. I jumped in and I don't even get on camera. I jumped straight on and was like, hey, this is bullshit. Right. So I think we want to be just a little bit honest and just lend some credence to what the manosphere was supposed to be, vice what it actually is now.
No, I do agree with that. I did say that I appreciate the manosphere for being an advocate for men, speaking on men's behalf and talking about issues that were centered around men. And I felt like we needed conversations like that. The problem is the branches and the other, you know, the negative things that's happening with the manosphere behind the scenes, women being criticized, devalued, I guess, like almost, and I'm sorry, my daughter just distracted me. I was like, what's going on with her? I'm sorry. Yeah, we just almost belittled and I guess like limited to a number, like, oh, you're a 4, you're adjustable 6. I mean, that's how they're describing women, like really minimizing, you know, how valuable we are and basically saying that we don't bring anything to the table besides, you know, our vaginas. And I feel like that's the part that's like, wait, what's going on here? What is this movement? Y'all don't want women no more? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what the purpose of it is besides to belittle and criticize women. But I want Mr. Go ahead. I wanted Mr. Beston to say his piece too, Jen. So go ahead, Jen.
I just wanted to respond to AJ when he said what the manosphere started as. That to me sounds like a better comparison to when men say Black girls rock or Black girl magic. That to me sounds like a better comparison, right? Not Black girls rock to the manosphere of today. That to me is apples and oranges. And I just want to respond to Jabari real quick. He said that we're being disingenuous.
Right.
We're just disagreeing with you.
That's it.
There's a difference. You have to be able to decipher when someone's disagreeing with you and someone's being disingenuous. We're just disagreeing with you, so you think we're being disingenuous, but it's absolutely true. If you're, by your definition, if getting older or dating out or whatever it means a woman loses value, then a man loses value as well. If we're just using the criteria of age, and I'm using your definition. If your definition is women get older, so they lose value, then men get older and lose value as well, because getting older means everybody's getting closer to death. Am I correct? That's what getting older is. Everybody's getting closer to death. Health fails, penises fail, vaginas dry up or whatever, wrinkles happen, sag happens. And that happens, unfortunately, to men too. Newsflash, it happens to men too.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, the statistics show that people date within their age group. they marry within their age group as well. I know that men try to say that, oh, my value never goes away. And if I got money and my value increases as I age, but younger women are not marrying old sugar. Like that is an outlier. That's also something that we see and we're like, ooh, that does happen. It doesn't happen as often as y'all think.
It's an exception to the rule.
It's exceptions. I'm telling you, the statistics show that if there's a 2-3 year gap between ages. Women, yes, are younger, but men are within your age range. So I don't understand that whole mentality. But go ahead, Mr. Beston, and so I can let L. Nixon have his moment. But
definitely.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Beston. Let him finish.
Yeah, shout out to M3, Knowledge and Relationships. I see you in there, brother. Shout out to you. With that being said, every community has people that take the message way too far. You know what I mean? Every community has that. So you have rogue stands who just be tripping. You know what I mean? Like some people they take what Cardi B or what Beyonce says or whatever. Some women take it all the way to the hilt. And it's like, do you understand these women are married women with kids? So even though they pumping these messages to you, they're not living this life. Yep. You know what I mean? Everybody does that. So I think in the manosphere is the same thing. Some of these guys are just taking it way too far. They're basing their whole life, they're buying the books and they watch every as soon as the live comes up, they know when the live is coming up before it come up. They in the comment section already. Like some guys take it as religion. You know what I mean? Some guys pattern themselves after these people. I know people who do that, but I'm not one of them. You know what I'm saying? I see it. I'm like, all right, well, that's what y'all think. Because I have my own perception and I know what I want to need as a man. It takes maturity to be at that point. A lot of these men are immature, and insecure. You know what I mean?
You're mentally sane. So you can listen to something and say, okay, no, that's crazy. And I'm not going to go that
I'm secure in myself as a man.
Right.
And I know what I want to need from a woman. Right. So I don't need to be on some type of, manosphere type of, stand rage and be like, oh man, women are this way or that way. No. There are qualities that women have and you also got to go based on what the woman's culture is, where she grew up, what her experiences are, what her family values are. All those things count. You know what I'm saying? And we live in America, so everybody has different values, morals, and standards. So to base all women on everything on one scale is just ignorant anyway. It's foolish. You know what I mean? To base all men on one thing is foolish. And let me speak to the insecure men for a second, if I may. You know what I mean? For the guys who are insecure and they just taking it way left. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, if you need to get some Viagra, if you need some coaching on how to, deal with your hygiene, you need to get to the gym, lose weight, you need to eat differently, stop eating McDonald's or whatever. Look, man, get your nutritionist, do what you got to do. But a lot of times it's not the woman's fault. It's just because you're not attractive in certain areas. You know what I mean? You don't know how to dress. You wearing different type of colors. You don't know what type of cologne to wear. You don't know how to shave. There's certain things you just don't know how to do as a man. You know how to speak to women. Your breath stinks. Like, it's a lot of things that you probably as a man are not doing. You know what I'm saying? That are making women not attracted to you. And that has nothing to do with the fact that women don't want to choose you. It's probably just you as a person. You know what I mean? Sometimes, and maybe you're just an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, that could be it too. Maybe you need to adjust your attitude and get you some therapy or get you some counseling or something. So before a lot of these insecure guys, you know what I mean, who probably can't deliver in the bedroom and out of the bedroom, before they start getting on these manosphere red pill rage, I'm taking shots. before they start getting on this rage, they need to check themselves first. Check yourself first, brother, and then find you a woman. But men have to start checking themselves, man. Stop blaming women. It's not their fault. Be a leader, be a man, and and basically, hold your sack, man. Hold your sack and act like you got a sack. That's what
Listen, I got a whole ass soundboard in here. I'm gonna hook this up the next time I come in here and start firing shots for y'all.
That's right. Go ahead, L. Nixon. I want to hear what you got to say.
I agree with Mr. Beston. Actually, I thought I had enough Black YouTube for the rest of the year, but I had to come up because I'm actually in that algorithm, the Black Manosphere algorithm, and it's tough. It is tough. Actually, they actually gave me that name, right? But the crazy thing about it is I get flack for that. You know what I mean? They don't want peace. They don't want peacemaker. They don't want nobody stopping the dysfunction. They don't want it at all. You know what I'm saying? So I get flack for that. You know what I'm saying? But in that algorithm, you got a mixture of people. You got the divestors, the swirlers, the extreme divestors, which Men can't even go on their channel. When you pop in the chat, you know, you get ape emojis, you get death threats. It's real crazy. And then you have what we call the Vester hopefuls, and they fall inside the manosphere algorithm, and they sound exactly like the manosphere, the opposite. I've heard them talk about the death of civil rights leaders. I've heard them Emmett Till's death. These are women. I've heard them go at some of our dead actives. Like, it's crazy. So it's like, and I tell them, like, you're just as bad as them,
right?
But you're starting to sound more radical than them. You digging up dead people's name. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I just tell them, like, it's not really women and men. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the law of attraction? Like, you need to go back and find out why you keep dating the same men or dating the same women. It's in you. It's not other men or other women. They don't want to hear that because that's too simple of an answer. So they rather point the finger.
And Jen said something earlier, like, it's real. It's not complicated. It's real easy. It's a real easy decision. Like, you can have a preference. You can date whoever you want to date. But why do you have to criticize this other group of women who you don't want? They're not desirable to you. Why do you have to tell other men not to date them because of this reason? And why do it need to be a whole movement around that? That's what I don't get.
I want to co-sign what El Nixon said, because I've been on panels, and when I say I'm not going to choose the woman's side and I'm not going to choose the man's side, I think it's a bunch of broken people trying to tell broken people what to do. They tell me, oh, but come on, oh, now you're being disingenuous, or you're not picking a side because you have an agenda. No, this is exactly how I feel. There's broken people on both sides trying to tell each other what to do. But going back to your point, they don't want peace. They want you to pick a side, no different than politics, Democrat, Republican, no different than Boston Red Sox and Yankees. They have to know where you are because they want to know if you're pro or anti. They don't want peace. They don't. And also, Chaotic Truth, remember I did a whole thing on him. He's one of the people that criticizes Harriet Tubman, going back to the activist. He criticizes Harriet Tubman, says that that the story is fake, that there's no way a woman that was 5'3" led anybody anywhere. So it does get very, very disgusting and toxic. It does.
Yeah. I mean, they talk about the topics. I even hear the ladies talk about, you know, protecting Black women, right? So I ask them a question. I ask them, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't think everybody is going to get protected. Everybody don't deserve protection. So I ask them, when it comes to men, does every man deserve to be respected? Does every man deserve to be submitted to? And they say no. I say, okay, well, why would everybody need to be protected, right? So, and I even to further go prove that point, I was on the panel last night, right? It was a brother that I knew. He was antagonizing a group of women, right? But yet they let him up. They know this guy, right? So it's a dynamic back and forth. Like, you talk about it, but you still engage in it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking to him and telling him, hey man, like, yo, if you want to talk, I'll fire up alive. Like, but you know, it's a panel full of women, you know what I mean? And you're going in on them, you know what I mean? And his wife is Asian. He's talking to Black women about the hair and all this type of stuff.
Oh my.
Oh, that's cringy.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here talking to him, being respectful and trying to tell him, no, this is not the way to go, right? Now I'm doing it because that's me. I'm not asking for anything from anybody. I'm looking in the chat and I'm looking at the women in the chat and I'm like, oh, y'all got it. Some people don't want you to stick up for them. They'd rather say that when it benefits them. How you going in on me on the chat and I'm sitting there trying to get this dude together for disrespecting y'all?
Right.
Like,
Hey, Al Nixon, let me also say that protect whoever at all costs, that shit is weird.
Okay.
Weird. Anytime.
Here, I wish King was up here because he will go in.
No, hey, listen, no diss to King, but listen, I'm not dying for none of y'all. Look, and I rock with everybody even on this panel. You know what I'm saying? Maybe in extreme situations we might have to go to war, but realistically, when they say like protect Fresh and Fit or protect this person at all, what does at all costs mean when you're down in the chat in YouTube? What does that even mean? You gonna go drive to this cat down to Miami and save his life? That shit is weird, man. It's weird.
I mean, you don't know how unstable people are. Like, what are they willing to do? I really wonder. Because
I told a guy, look, if you go to other places and you look at the chat compared to the ones over there where we at, you want to leave. I mean, it's the opposite of this. It's very childish.
Can you explain this whole protect Black women movement? Because here's the thing. There was a lot of criticism that I got because they said that I didn't deserve protection, right? Because of how masculine I am. I can defend myself, so I don't deserve protection. And my whole thing was like, I don't need y'all to protect me. I mean, I don't need strangers on the street to protect me. I got a daddy. Wait, first of all, I got a husband. I got a daddy. I got uncles. I got cousins that's crazy. Like, I got all kinds of protection. Don't worry about that. What I'm saying is, you're not going to disrespect me when I'm on a panel, period. You're going to treat me with respect or we're going to have a problem, right? So I felt like there was this whole protect Black women movement and, and I really wasn't on that bandwagon because, like you said, just like all men don't deserve to be respected, all women don't deserve a level of protection that they're asking for. So tell me what this whole idea of like the protect women movement and what's your perception of it is, I guess.
Well, I even asked a question, right? Because I like to ask questions. I like switch it around and see how hypocritical people are. So the group of ladies that was saying that, so I asked them a question. I said, okay, so let me give you a scenario. You're in Walmart with your husband, right? And you see somebody getting attacked. What do you want your husband to do? Well, I would want him, to call the police or whatever. I said, wait a minute. I know you're not some of the same women that used to be on social media saying Black men are standing by just recording it, not doing nothing. And I asked you, your husband was there. Would you want him to jump in? And you said, no. Okay, let me ask you another question. It's your daughter that's there. You're not around. Would you want another Black man to jump in? She said, yes. Wow. So, and I've heard it even in my personal life. I've heard, no, don't go do this. Don't go that. Don't do that. They have a boyfriend. Let them do it. So I thought as a collective, we're protecting all Black women. But I found out at some people's homes, they don't care about y'all. They want you home with them. Forget y'all. Let y'all man do it. If y'all have a man, it's on y'all. I've asked a couple people and I got the same answer. I said, so what are we talking about then?
Yep.
Can I speak to that?
They're going to protect their family. They're going to protect their interests first. That's just the truth.
All right, so
that's a natural thing. If somebody's shooting in Walmart and I'm with my husband, he's going to protect me first. He's going to make sure I get safely to the car, whatever I need to do. That's what he's going to do, right?
Yeah, let me speak. Can I speak on that, please? Good. Now, a family member of mine had gotten to a situation.
I think Mr. O said drop the link.
But his device is not connected. So, Mr. O, you can hear me? Something, just kind of log out and come back in. It says your device is not connected. Sorry, Mr. Beston, go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's so you know what I mean? After this, I do have to roll out. But a family member of mine had a situation. And we were going out to, the men folk in my family, we got together, we were going to go out to handle it. And my grandmother looked at all of it. She said, I don't know why y'all doing that. She said, that poor girl is going to go right back to that man. And that's what she did. You know what I mean? But my grandmother had enough wisdom to know that. You know what I mean? And once she said that, and once everything happened in the situation, the light just came on my bulb. It was like, ding. You know what I mean? I was like, oh. And the thing I realized is that, one, you can't protect everybody. And two, you know what I mean? Why am I out here acting like, I'm Bruce Lee, or I'm in the Navy or the military, or I'm I've got all these guns. Like that's I'm not a trained martial artist. I'm not here to protect the laws of the land. They have government officials and people who are registered to do that. Call the local laws of the land. That's what they're here for. That's what they get paid for. Every time you see your check and them taxes get taken out for them, that's what getting taken out for. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, and also men and women need to protect each other. Look, if somebody's shooting, then me and my lady both need to be trying to find how we gonna both get safe. You know what I mean? We need to protect each other, because in that situation, you both want to live, right? Nobody want to die at that moment. So, all right, we don't want to die. Let's find a way to get the hell up out of here, both of us.
But I do think that people make the protection thing sound like you got to step in front me if a bullet is trying to hit me in the chest. You gotta jump.
No,
like, I think people make it sound like it's
sister, this ain't no action movie.
It's like not this heroic thing. I'm gonna tell you a simple story of a protection that I thought was really a good idea for people to just kind of mirror. This Black girl, she said what she did was she got on the bus every morning at 5 a.m. and she walked to the bus by herself. And sometimes it's dark at 5 a.m. You guys know that. And so you're walking by yourself, and she would notice that this man would be out there with every time she would go. And she noticed him, but he never bothered her. He just stayed on his side of the street and whatever. So she just always noticed that this man was there. To the point where one day she saw that the man wasn't out there, and when she was walking. And then a woman came and she said, "Oh, my husband's sick, but he told me to come out here and make sure you got to the bus okay." And every day this man was just watching just to make sure she got to the bus okay. And if he saw something, he probably would have called the police, did what he had to do, been a witness, whatever. And that's just a simple idea of what protection looks like. What we're saying is, if something's happening to us, we deserve to be treated like something is going wrong. Like we deserve to be,
treated like a basic human being.
Like
maybe
human being. That's all we're saying. I guess we're just saying that call the police. Tell them that somebody's abusing us. Tell them that we're in danger. Treat our pain like it's real pain. I think that sometimes people think that she all right. She like you said, she gonna stay with him anyway, or whatever, and like don't even report it or don't even think to, I guess, look into it. I guess that's what I think. And I think that was just simple. Yeah.
I think that's a very, very beautiful thing. But let me tell you what it isn't. I've been on panels where I'm debating certain women, and then people will be like, protect such and such. I'm like, from who? From me? Like, that's what it's not. That's when you're exaggerating the situation. And it makes me laugh because I'm like, so now two women can't sit and have a debate without one of them needing protection? Like, what is this coming to? Right. I think the way you described it is a very beautiful thing. And I think it's unrealistic. You can't expect everyone to be a hero or want to risk their life or limb, or some people just ain't got it in them like that. So I would never, culturally, I didn't grow up like that. My daddy was a weapons man. Now I'm a weapons woman. I've always thought about protecting my family, my man included, if need be. So I'm not from that school of thought where it's like, oh, I protect me. I'm always like, how can I help this family? Even when I've been in a relationship with a man, he may be down. He may be the first one to get shot. What am I going to do? Oh my God, there's no way to protect me. So I don't know. I'm just not from that school of thought. I don't subscribe to it. I can't do it.
Right.
But I think it's a beautiful thing, but I'm like, it's not, now we're exaggerating the protection thing. I'm like, now protection
it just goes too far. Like, why would a strange man jump in front of a bullet for you? Come on. I mean, I don't understand that.
Man, just keep it at its basic level. It's like, keep it at its basic level. I mean, I'm saying the reason that me and Tawana got acquainted as friends is because I saw something that I didn't care for, and it was a Black man in the manosphere space that considers themselves a pseudo alpha screaming at a woman, online. And, I just kind of jumped in, but those are those examples, I mean, heck, if we could be up here right now, and I'm just using you guys because you're here, but Mr. Besson and L. Nixon could be going at it. And I might say, hey, God, look, Mr. Best, you were out of pocket with that. I mean, and, and we just kind of come together. That's what it's about. Just starting at the basic level and looking out for each other. It doesn't have to be jumping in front of a freaking bullet. I mean, how often is that really going to happen?
I mean, I think that's just, I think it's just ridiculous to think that that's what it is. And I mean, the women who are pretty much heading that movement have kind of said, yeah, Like, I expect him to jump in front of the bullet and protect me. Like, I've heard women say those things. So I'm not saying that the men are exaggerating it. I've heard women who've started the movement say that that is their expectation of protection. And I even heard a woman say that if my son protected a woman and he died, I would be proud of him that he died for what was right, protecting like, they go so far as to say something like that. And I'm like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, I grew up.
No, I've heard the extremists. I've heard it. So I know that this is a real thing, y'all. Like, men, that they want men to like physically protect them. And I think that is like, it's something simple, like, you know, a man just saying like, hey, baby, you need me to, you know, take those bags, like, see me struggling with something, you know, and like, okay, like, take my bags to the car for me or something crazy. Like, and you got to be careful with that because, you know, they hit you upside the head and put you in the trunk or something, you know, so you just, you know, I feel like it's simple things that could be seen as protection that women overlook. And they really just accuse men of not protecting them at all, emasculating men and making men feel like they aren't protective of women. And I don't support that at all. I'm against that completely, 100%.
Hey, look, I just want to let me jump in real quick because I wanted to say salute to everybody because I'm about to drop off. It's freaking late. I'm tired. Listen, so salute to the panel. It was great to meet everyone, and you know, I might come back one day. You know, it's just kind of cool. I ain't been up in a minute, so
you gotta come back. Love you.
Salute to y'all. Salute to everyone in the chat. Peace.
I'm about to drop off too, but I just want to say that. I just want to say that. Listen, the weapon that these young boys got now, you better not damn near jump in front of a bullet because you ain't jump in front of one, you jump in front of a plenty. They got the choppers, boy. They line you up for real, and they will light you up. You know what I mean? They'll light you up, and everybody else around you up. So, you know what I mean? You see them coming, you better start running. You know what I mean? And you better find the nearest whatever you can to basically protect yourself and whoever else is there because, you know, they ain't coming with no little handguns now. These guys got military style weapons, AR-15s and all types of stuff. So you gotta be careful out here. But yeah, you know, men and women should both protect each other. Thank you, Juan, for having me up. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Much for everybody on the panel.
I appreciate you. Come back.
Definitely, I will. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Peace.
Now I just want to say I grew up like that, right? I grew up like that. So, you know what I'm saying? So I don't have a problem with the idea of protecting Black women, right? But I just want people to be honest about it. You know what I'm saying? I just want people to be honest. Like, everybody that jumps behind a phrase or slogan, they're not really behind it. They can be using it for the benefit. Like I said, you know, I've got a lot of experience in this, you know, trying to be that guy. I got more flack by trying to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? So I know by experience, there was a lot of panels that I jumped on. And I'm told by women who talk about the community and protect Black women, will she tell me, oh, I don't need a referee. Like, what? Then I was told, hey, here comes MLK. Wait a minute, but the other day I heard you bashing MLK. Whoa, you, okay, I see how. So I step back. But then when I don't say nothing, then it's like, oh, well, where you at? Oh, I'm done with y'all. Y'all good. You don't need me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they like the interaction with these guys because they keep letting them come back. They keep letting them disrespect them. But when me and a few other guys was on the panel, telling them not to call their daughters apes, and we're going at these men, right? We're going at these men for talking to the women on the panel that we used to hang around with.
Right.
Meanwhile, we're hearing stuff from the guys in the manosphere because we're adjacent to the manosphere, but we're not in the manosphere. They're calling us simps and all that, right? I get why. Because while we're up there protecting them on the panel, they're in the chat talking disrespectful toward Black men. So why are we here?
Wow.
I'm out. Me and the guy, we was out. I'm like, I'm not going to be over here making sure y'all good, but y'all talking about Black men in the chat. I'm like, oh, no, I'm out. Yeah.
So I'm leaving too, Tawana. I'm leaving, but I want to
like, we need to wrap it up eventually, but I'm gonna let Mr. O say what he gotta say. Thank you on the block with Jen.
Let me say this before I go. I want to say to AJ, to L Nixon, to Mr. O, because I've seen them do it, to King, to anybody watching in the chat, the gentlemen that are watching in the chat. If you've ever protected a woman, big or small, we appreciate you. We will not be talking out the side of our necks to you the next day. There are women out here that appreciate men like you, that welcome men like you into our spaces. I would advise what I do now on YouTube. When I see one of them toxic people come up, you hit the option on the side, not interested, and those YouTube videos don't even pop up on your timeline anymore. But I want to say I am a woman who appreciates that from men. I welcome it, and I won't be talking sideways after. I won't be going in the nail salon after the men protected the women. I will not be online for that nail salon. Trust me.
You damn right. Exactly.
And good night. Thank you, Juana. You're always doing your thing over here. And subscribe, okay? Support my sis because she's doing it. And support these gentlemen as well. Good night, guys.
Good night. Thank you.
Y'all see me around. But yeah, we don't do it for a pat on the back. You do it because it's in you. You're not supposed to be looking for accolades or whatever. But y'all definitely see me around a little bit more. I'm trying to make my way out of
what's your YouTube channel?
It's called The Voice of Reason.
The Voice of Reason.
El Nixon, The Voice of Reason. And actually
go subscribe to The Voice of Reason. He protects Black women. I love it.
Actually, I'm happy to see you on YouTube because I followed you when you was on the show.
Okay.
And I did rock with you when you was on the show. So that's why I'm here.
One thing about when I was on that show, the community of men that I met after that are the men that like rock with me, like let me know, like, look, we support you and everything. And I appreciate the men that I met on that show because they showed me that little bit of manosphere men that was hateful was not the majority of men. It was more of you all that understood the manosphere theories, but really related it to real life in an effective way. And I appreciated those conversations, to be honest. Like I wanted to have those conversations.
The ladies got to understand, y'all can't let the 15% of people on here represent for the 85. So it's all right.
Thank you, Jabari. Mr. O, wrap us up. What you got to say, Mr. O? Because I know you're trying to
say that these conversations they are doing what they're supposed to, and I think they're leaving an impression, the right one. I think that we're having an effect, and you ladies that have tended to been shunned from channels are actually doing more in the right direction to give women the example of how we should conduct ourselves in order to be together. So
it went. Oh, you muted, Mr. O. I don't know what happened. It went mute. Let me unmute. Yeah.
It was very respectful, and we communicate. I think we show people how men and women supposed to communicate up here, and that's what I like. There's a lot of arguing to the teeth.
Thank you.
We're actually communicating. So,
like, I love that men like you and El Nixon and Jabari, all of you guys challenge women to think differently about things, and I do think that's important. Some people think I don't have a problem with that part of the manosphere, that part that's centered on men and understanding how men think and how men, what men want. I have a problem with that negative energy, that side that, can be very like threatening and violent and can encourage that type of behavior toward women. And I felt like I was in a space where it was also welcomed. And I got a lot of that hatred, that threats and all those types of things that really was like, I knew it was nothing, but it's just the fact that men felt like they could do that to me, right? And because I feel a certain way about women and how women should be, and I thought that was insane. Like, you can't silence me because I don't feel the way you feel, So that's
I'm not in the manosphere. I just want to say, I'm not in the manosphere. I'm just in that algorithm because I'm quick to say whatever I feel or how I feel about how I treat women. I don't need their approval, and I'm quick to tell them, they can mind their business. Like, what I do is what I do as a man. Like, that's it. I don't look for I'm not a man that sit around a group of men looking for their approval. No, it's not happening. So.
Yes.
Oh wow. On that note,
yeah. Well, we're gonna wrap this up because it's been 4 hours for me. I don't know how long it's been for y'all. But I'll be back. Y'all subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel. We do the after show on my channel sometimes, and I always come back. But I also post things. And y'all come back and subscribe and watch me sometimes as well.
I would
All
appreciate the
right.
sub as well on mine. Mr. O is just living. Y'all go
Yes.
check my
You
channel
know
out.
what?
We
Nixon,
gonna be doing
come back
something
to my channel. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Come back Nixon to my channel and speak about this because I would love to hear it. But go ahead. I want y'all to follow Mr. O because I love his show. I be cracking up at your show. It's so good. But it's also challenging as far as like challenging women to think differently about stuff
Right.
too. So
I appreciate that.
yeah.
We're gonna do
All
something.
right, guys.
All right, yo, y'all have a good night. Everybody in the chat, good night.
Okay. Bye. Why y'all still on here? Y'all know I meant to end this broadcast. Get off. Get off. See you guys. I need to end this. I did not know it was still going. Hey, Daryl. I love you too. You guys are still in here. I thought I ended it. I was upstairs about to go to bed. You see, I didn't change my clothes, put my hair in a ponytail. Y'all still on here. I love it. You guys are funny. All righty. See you later. Peace.